pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please remain standing, I'd like to invite Judge ICRC to the podium for our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for the invitation. It's always a pleasure and a joy to pray with all of you. So if we would lower our heads, please, bow our heads. Precious Holy Spirit, our divine guide, we kneel before you with love in our hearts and an ardor for responsibility, seeking your divine influence over our city council. We pray you imbue them with wisdom and decision-making, ensuring the prosperity of Harrison and its citizens. Be their lantern, illuminating the paths of leadership and service they tread daily. Strengthen their dedication to public welfare. Let faith be their compass as they navigate the intricacies of governance. Under your watchful gaze and through Almighty God, may their actions manifest as tangible blessings upon the people they serve. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a way to start a meeting right there. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Agner.
Here.
Mr. Abrams.
Here.
Mr. Samuels.
Here.
Mr. Akra.
Here.
Mr. Maines.
Here.
Mrs. Wilson.
Here.
Approved City Council meeting minutes, February 20, 2024, and executive session summary from February 2024.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Agner.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, roll call.
Mr. Agner.
Yeah.
Mr. Abrams.
Yay.
Mr. Samuels.
Yay.
Mr. Akra.
Yay.
Mr. Maines.
Stain.
Mrs. Wilson.
Yay.
Mrs. Wilson. Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move into the public part of the agenda. And first, I'd like to invite up the American Legion Post 199. to the podium.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, we'd like to have Mr. Richard Newsom come up from the Girls Golf League for the high school. They sent us a letter. They're having a 18-team golf outing, and they needed some little help with it, so the Legion is proud to give them $1,000 tonight for that. Wow. Thank you very much.
You want the picture, Joey?
Can't teach
Need the picture, huh?
Can't teach him anything.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna bring home a winner. We're working on it. And now, if we could have Willie Foy and representatives from the VFW come up. We got a letter from, the Legion got a letter the other day from the fire department that wanted to build a command training center, Station 56, and they needed $5,000 to do that. So we did it as a joint venture where the Legion and the VFW are each donating $2,500 to get that done. Get a little tight here, don't act like you like each other.
Oh.
Would you like to say something about what you're doing?
Now, this has been an envision of ours for probably the last 5-10 years, so we're forever indebted to your guys' generosity to provide these funds and the support of the council and the mayor. So, without you guys' support, we couldn't do what we do, so thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Floyd, did you want to, Mr. Floyd? Mr. Floyd, did you want to come up and speak on your event? Okay. As everyone may know, we do have a total solar eclipse that will take place on April 8th, 2024. And while the city doesn't have anything necessarily planned at this time, a lot of the community is very excited about this opportunity, and I'll let the VFW pick up from here.
Okay, so from doing a little research, this area is in the path of totality where it will be 100% eclipsed and dark. It is going to start in this area here. It's going to start at 2:51 and end at 3:08. And we'll have the total eclipse for 1 minute and 39 seconds in this area. So it's a 125-mile path. We are on the outer side of it, the southwest side of that path. But even those in Cincinnati won't be in the path of totality. So we do expect to have a whole lot of visitors coming to this area. Like I said, we're not in the middle, the very middle. They get about 4 minutes of the totality. But we still are in that path. And there are a lot of areas that are selling out boondocking for $100 a night just to park a camper. So we are trying to do an event for that. We have 11 acres there, and we're going to offer camping. We're going to start on Thursday and go through Tuesday night. We're going to have our cabana open. We're going to have bands. We're going to have bonfires. We're right on the river, so I'm trying to make a really good event for it. So,
Very good.
thank
Well,
you.
if you're interested, you can reach out to the Post. Is there a website that people can?
It
What
is.
was the website?
It's VFW Do Well Post 7570, and I can get it to
Okay.
you guys as well.
Very
And
good.
then our Facebook too. It's
Facebook.
just Harrison VFW.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with that.
Okay, next I'd like to invite up Kim Sovereign with the Harrison Recreation Commission, and she is heading up the Recreational Improvement Committee. And she will be doing a presentation on a potential plan for improvements here at the community center. They have worked on this for over a year and a half now. She's here to present on the plans and talk through it all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, yes, I'd just like to update you. We have two new council members this year. So I'd like to give you a little background on when we started. I actually went through my notes. And on September 7th of 2022, I attended the Building and Lands meeting to propose that we revamp the grounds of the Harrison Community Center to include the splash pad, playground, restrooms, ball fields, soccer fields, basketball and tennis courts, skate park, and walking trail. Pretty much just the outside grounds of our community center. And at that meeting, I was told, sounds great, you need to get approval from council. So on and let me back up too. I also asked if we could use the Recreation Tax Fund, the AKA Bedroom Tax Fund, to support this. But I was told I need to come to council. So on October 4th of 2022, I attended the council meeting, and I did receive approval to form a committee. I was told that I needed to have 3 council members on my committee and 1 township trustee. So on November 29th of 2022, I had my first Recreation Improvement Committee meeting. And at that meeting, we had council members Tony Egner, Gene Wilson, Mike Maines. We had a township trustee, Tom Losekamp. At the time, our former economic director, Shannon Hammonds, Sonny Ross, and Rick Rell. And in 2023, Tony Egner was our chair. And then now in 2024, we still have, of course, Shannon is gone, but Gene is now our chair. We still have the same council members as well as Tom Losekamp. And we meet the first Wednesday of each month at 7 o'clock here at the community center in the executive conference room. So we've been meeting since November of 2022 to come up with a concept. In March of 2023, we surveyed the community. It was posted on Facebook, and council, I provided a folder there. You can see the survey that was circulated to the community as well as the results. And the top 4 rankings were new restrooms, a splash pad, updated or additional ball fields, and additional walking trails. Number 5 was a skate park. So after that, continuing just to have meetings and just brainstorm. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? we would meet monthly to discuss that. And then on August 1st of 2023, I met with a JMA consultant, Jennifer Vatter. We walked the grounds of the community center, and I shared our ideas with her. With the ball fields, like, do we need to be concerned about that dip in the field back there? We want to put a splash pad in. Where's the best place to put it? And she's very familiar with the grounds of the community center. So we walked that and we talked about our grand vision that we had. And then on November the 1st, Jennifer Vatter received notification regarding the Ohio Capital Budget Grant applications, and they were due November the 17th. Super quick turnaround. At that point, we didn't have any cost estimates. We didn't have a concept. So Jennifer drafted up a concept for us, and let me just pause for a minute to show you. This is what we started out with. This is what we were talking about, revamping the community center. You look at this, you can see this is the community center here. This is the parking lot in the back. This is the pavilion where we have our summer concerts. We have, and this is the playground, and then those are the two ball fields over there by JTM. So this is what we were dealing with. So once we got the survey together, coming up with a grand concept, this is what we came up with. Now it gives me goosebumps. I can't imagine it doesn't give me goosebumps. So going from here to here.
And for those viewing at home, we will work on getting this out on social media for you to be able to look at, so.
So the concept was drafted on November the 14th. Total projected price is about $4.3 million. So we submitted a grant to the Cincinnati Business Committee, the Cincinnati Regional Business Committee. They are like a task force for the grant that we put in for. It was like a Shark Tank scenario. You have 10 minutes to speak. So we presented our concept, and again, it's just a concept. No money has been spent, no funds have been committed. It's just a dream that we have for our city. And it's just the first iteration. It can be changed. In fact, if you look at it, when we got this concept, there is a restroom. The current restroom is here. And we thought, oh man, the splash pad is over here. So we should probably bring the restroom closer to the splash pad. Again, these are great as visuals. Just a concept. So we presented in front of that committee, and we were recommended. We asked for $1 million. We went big. Our dreams are big, so we asked for $1 million. What the heck? Could they do? Say no, right? So we asked for $1 million. We were recommended by the task force for $650,000. So we're still waiting to hear about the grant. We were hoping to hear sometime this spring, but I did some research online, and it looks like this grant is available every 2 years. And in 2022, they announced the grant recipient winners in June. And I believe that this is not a fact, but I know that the state's budget, the fiscal year begins in July, so I imagine we'll hear something in June. Okay, so our total project, like I said, is 4.3, and we would like to do this in phases. So in your folders, I have the phases broken down. So we asked for, so in phase one is about $1.8 million. And phase one consists of a new splash pad with an updated playground. And we're not going to move the playground. It's just we're going to incorporate the splash pad with the playground. I've done some research. I've gone to other parks, and I noticed like they are like incorporated together. You don't want, our playground has mulch. So you don't want the kids playing on mulch and then running over to the splash pad. So there are probably going to be some minor upgrades to the playground, but we're not removing it. And that's also, so we want to put in 4 ball fields, but we don't have the funding for that, so we'd like to put in 2 now, and then for phase 2, we can do the other 2. We'd also, within the new ball fields, currently there are no restrooms up there, so we'd like to put in a restroom. There's no shelter for inclement weather. We'd like to put a concession stand up there and a little storage room up there as well. And that is, I had estimated like $300,000. I know that is grossly underestimated because we were hoping for in-kind donations. Or we could possibly build that in stages as well. And then the extension of the walking path. I don't know, I've come here often at the community center. There's people walking. It's exciting to see when there's a nice day. I was here the other night at 9:30. People are still on the pickleball courts and tennis courts. People bring their dogs to the dog park and they're walking. Families are walking the trails. The trail is not complete, so we'd like to complete that as well as to add to it. So that's what we estimated 1.8 for phase 1. Now for phase 2, I would like to complete the ball fields, and if we complete the ball fields, we're going to need more parking. So we're going to need more parking spots. We would probably have to relocate the basketball courts, and then we can move on to we can do multiple phases depending on the funding that we have. I would even suggest that we go back. We haven't done this yet. That we do a comprehensive green space plan with all of the parks that we have. If we start with the community center, we still have the dog park, we have Doug Dunaway, we have the park on Thomas Lane, we have Willow, we have Tunis, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple of them in between there too. So if we come up with a comprehensive plan in 2 years, when this capital budget is available again, we can submit. So, it's not just a one and done. We can submit multiple times. So does anybody have any questions for me?
I'd just like to make a comment real quick. So just in regards to the grant process, with the request coming from the state level, the capital budget where these funds are approved out of, it's a 2-year process. So the original request was to dream big, to plan it all out, think of all the different features that the community may want to see improvement or added, and then to come up with the budget. And obviously, $4.3 million just for this piece of property is what has been accomplished here. With the grant submission being approved from Hamilton County at $650,000. That's just a first part of the process. It would have to be accomplished in multiple stages because we would go back to the state to request additional funds to complete it all. We would have to if council decided to move forward with improvements when the time arrives. We would have to complete it in multiple stages, and we would determine at that time what improvements we would like to see first. So it may be the splash pad and play area, as well as a potential amphitheater or what have you, as well as restrooms, because that's one of the most requested items here at the community center. And then it may phase into ballparks, but that would be time for another discussion. I asked Kim to bring everything that has played out up to this point and present it. That way we can start not only having discussions amongst council members, but to start hearing from the community around this. They completed the survey with their most requested items, and this is the work that the Rec Improvement Committee has put together for you. So,
Yes, and we encourage, like, this month's meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your concerns. I would hope that you would have something good to say before you criticize. That's just me. But absolutely, criticism is good, right? That will help us improve this project and make this project stronger for our community. One thing that I did is, I thought a splash pad would be great for our community. I think the little ones would love it as well as adults. We'd all love it. We could use it for our summer fun programs, our concerts. It would be used. So I did educate myself. I went to DWA and said, tell me about these splash pads. Tell me what went wrong with Whitewater. Everyone wants to talk about Whitewater. Well, Whitewater had a recirculating system that required chemicals. It required daily monitoring by a certified pool instructor. You had to purchase a recirculating system. And you've got chemicals in there, and kids are drinking these chemicals, so it's not good for the kids either. So what we propose is a freshwater flow-through system. So children won't be in contact with any harmful bacteria and chemicals that could make them ill or cause skin irritations, because there are no chemicals involved. It's very little maintenance. You would have to winterize it, just like the drinking fountains here at the community center. We could put, the water tap is right next to where we plan on putting the splash pad. And you can also have added features on the splash pad. For instance, you could put a timing system on there, or you could have a system where the kids would go up and they would touch something and then the water would spurt out instead of just constantly running. And no lifeguard is needed because there's no standing water. So that's what we have proposed. Let's see. We also, in regards to funding, we will seek like additional local and corporate funding, in-kind donations, sponsorships and pledges, and additional grants too. So this is just the beginning.
what other questions or discussion?
I do have one question, well, one comment, one question. Kim, I just want to commend you on the work that's been done on this so far. The concept, I mean, it looks great. I know it might not be the final product, but I just want to let you know that we do appreciate the work that you've put into this.
Thank you.
So my question is, obviously, I'm chair of the finance committee, and this is where my question is coming from. In terms of the grant funding, so the total project cost is a little over $4 million. Our initial grant that we received was $650,000, possibly more. Does that lock us into completing the entire project, or does that just lock us into completing phase one? Or it's really up to us?
It's up to us, because it's just, we had to present something. So this was our concept. It can be changed.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. But we're not locked into completing all of this in
The
a
only-
certain time frame. If we move forward, let's say we do complete phase one, with or without the concession stand or whatnot, we're not locked in. If we accept the money, we're not locked into completing all of it. We just have the ability to move forward with what we have the money for and go from there.
Correct. And, but we are locked in to use this money at the community center because that was part of our proposal.
Okay,
Yes, that's the only thing that we're locked into.
okay.
Yes, we can change it up if you decide.
That's upon acceptance of the grant funds.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Any other questions? Discussion?
So just so I'm clear on this, accepting this and starting this means every other park we have can receive no other attention ever.
No, that's incorrect. If we do a comprehensive plan, we can come up with what we want to do for our entire city, and then we can plan.
Spending the entire bedroom tax that took 22 years to gather on this.
Yes, sir.
So there's not going to be anything left for the other parks.
No, but that doesn't mean we can't seek funding in the future or grants in the future.
But there's,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you.
Is this going to be handicap accessible?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Well, because I know that it's needed for our city, and I know that is a concern of yours. I'd like for you to come and talk to us about it and help us.
I just want to know why you're going to make it accessible.
Well, because it's needed for the city. I heard that
Requirement.
some people had some problems with the parade because they couldn't get close to the parade because we didn't have parking spots for them. Those are things that we need the community to bring to us. I don't know. I can tell you what a mom needs because I'm a mom, right? I know we need restrooms, right? I know that. So this is why we need to hear from the community. It's only going to make our project stronger.
But the ability to make our other parks handicap accessible goes away because of this project.
I don't think that's true. I mean,
Unless
we
you
could.
want to wait 2 years.
Well, it took me 2 years to get this plan. Let's start working on your plan. Let's start getting some grant money. It took a while to get this done. A lot of brainstorming, a lot of talking to different people in the community. Let's start working on your ideas. Let's come up with a plan.
This is more money we've spent on recreation in the city's history. We spent in one lump. It's more money than we've been able to gather in 20 years. And that's a concern to me because we have multiple parks that need things.
You hear what he's saying?
And I'll just touch on that real quick, because with the new design, everything has to be in compliance. So as the design continues to move forward, accessibility will be one of the key points that they make sure they take a look at here at the community center. In regards to the other properties, we had a discussion even this evening in our street committee to address some of the concerns that you had brought up in previous discussions. So we do hear the concerns in regards to accessibility, not only here, but in regards to other properties around the city.
We have other parks and we have other needs. I was talking to Mr. Maines earlier this week. The Doug could use a skid steer and a storage facility for it.
Yes.
That will never be able to happen if we do this.
It's not, you shouldn't say never, because you all have the ability to spend the money if it's deemed appropriate. I understand what you're saying. It may not be able to come from this money.
I don't mean to sound skeptical, but I sat here for a year and tried to get a $600 headstone repaired and couldn't do it. It isn't easy. It concerns me spending everything we got on this.
Well, the bedroom tax is not gonna stop. I mean, we've got like, what, 700 and some homes being built?
Correct.
So we're still gonna be getting bedroom tax money into the recreation fund.
It took 20 years to get what we got though.
I understand that, but, you know, I don't know when you get a project this size that you can limit it to, oh, we're only gonna spend 10% of it. I mean, yes, it took a long time to get it, but it's there, and now we got something that looks pretty nice.
The only thing we're trying to do is improve the community, right? That's all. That's all we're trying to do.
But you're ignoring other things that would improve the community.
I don't think we're ignoring anything. You're right. You have brought forth some good points to make sure that we try to address other aspects where people frequent. And we want to make sure that we do that.
You know, one thing Mr. Mayor Nyer told me was moving this restroom from here to here costs $250,000 just for the water lines and the sewer, as opposed to leaving that one there and rebuilding it there. That's $250,000 you don't have to spend.
And that's all part of the
That's why I
discussion.
asked earlier if this was,
Yeah,
subject, could we change it?
yes.
Those are kind of things I'd like to know.
And they're great points. They are. They're great points. If we can save
Another thing
money
concerns me
on
is-
moving bathrooms,
Have you
then
talked to any of the residents who live on the other side of this facility and it got their opinion, what it's going to be like to have this kind of amount of light shining in the back of their houses on a regular basis?
So we did discuss that. We did discuss
it
that.
with them?
Within our committee, we discussed that. It would be nice to have lights. Oh, well, wait a minute. Again, sir, it's just a concept. It would be nice to have these lights. Okay, well, now we need to talk to the community, and are these lights going to be too bright for the neighborhood?
I mean,
Same
certainly
with
we
the
have zoning
amphitheater.
regulations that prohibit that. You're not allowed to do it.
Yeah, so right now, for phase one does not include the lights, but that was a concern. Just like the amphitheater, do we need to face it in a certain direction so it doesn't bother our residents behind us? You know, what's the best angle for that? So we did consider that, and that the lights are not part of phase
I
one.
don't think this is a nice plan. But we had someone stand right where you're standing a couple weeks ago, wanting to put a splash pad on our Harrison Avenue so it's visible and on our main drag, offering to do fundraising. And he was talking about raising a large amount of money. And now here's another one right here doing the exact same thing.
Ray, do you think it would be a good idea to have a splash pad with children running around on Harrison Avenue?
Not on Harrison Avenue now.
Okay.
But there's a playground right on Harrison Avenue.
Mayor, could I
Has been
make a
for the history
suggestion?
of our
I'm sorry.
city.
Excuse me one second.
If I could just make a suggestion. First of all, any new construction is required to be compliant with Title II of the ADA. So anything that we put there would have to meet ADA requirements and be handicap accessible bathrooms, parking lots, ramps, signs,
When
all
was that
that.
law put in?
1990.
So our river park wasn't in compliance the day we finished.
I don't know anything whether it is or it isn't. The other thing I might suggest, because it is a large expenditure of money, and it's going to impact the entire community, is that have a public hearing similar like you do with the PUD, and provide Kim whatever your concerns or questions are. Like maybe you think, like I'm just looking at it and I'm a little worried about where the splash park is because of whether it's going to be enough parking for like during the day for city business as well as people that are going to use it because it's so close to the building. Just little things like that. Provide comments in writing and then have a presentation again, see if any of those comments were addressed, and then people in the public, whether they be neighbors next door or anybody else, can certainly come and provide you their input, which it sounds like you guys want anyway.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the plan. And I've explained the whole process. This is just the beginning to get it in front of everybody, not only council, but to start getting it in front of the community. The public hearings will come. The lights will be addressed. Either there won't be lights or it'll be addressed appropriately, just like we do with every development. The bathroom situation, if it is most cost effective, all that stuff needs to be talked through here. This is just the concept of what their thoughts were with the community feedback that they were provided. So,
It has been mine, I've noticed over the numerous years I've been running around this city that people who come in and work in this building, their view of what exactly is going on in this city shrinks down to the point to where this is all they see. And I wasn't on board with the motorcycle park, but they have needs now. They're there. They have things they need to do.
yes, they do.
And making that a better facility would be a benefit to everybody. Making Willow Park accessible to people in wheelchairs and scooters would enhance it. I got a letter, I'll bring it next meeting, from a senior citizen, begging for a bench and easier walking.
Yes.
And if we do this, we won't have any money for that for years. Now, if we could do this and open it up, that wouldn't be a problem. Or if we could trim this down to where we're not spending ourselves dry, we're not talking a huge amount of money.
And those are all on the table. Whether we commit the full $750,000 to phase one or $740,000 to phase one is still something that you guys have complete control over.
You know,
You as council.
I noticed there's a $500,000 concession stand here. Just an idea. If you put 4 or 5 pads around and offered it for rent, like they do the concessions in Cincinnati for hot dog stands, and open them up for bid in January to actually help you raise money, you would probably have a food truck on every one for every event.
I was
And they
floored.
would be actually paying us to do it, rather than us paying $500,000 to do it.
Sure, I was
Because the only
floored.
thing this is gonna do is make us get employees, probably a director for this whole facilities, and it's just gonna add to it, when we could be making it work for us. and none of that is on here.
So this, again, it's just a concept. It is super expensive. I was floored too. That's why I dropped it down to 300, thinking there's no way. There's certainly we could get assistance from the community, with the type of community that we are, to build what we want, or maybe build it in stages. Absolutely, it's expensive. And it doesn't have to be that design. It doesn't. We could sit down and talk about it. It's just a concept.
I
And
do,
if I
I
could
think-
just say, I'm sorry. So I did reach out to, when we started this, I did reach out to that other organization on September 29th and asked, hey, I heard that you're looking to build a splash pad fountain. Let's do this together. They weren't interested, which I respect that, but I'm still moving forward with our vision here. So I did approach them
Now,
and ask
One
them.
thing I did like about their design, it does put it on Harrison Avenue for visibility's sake. I even found them another location that would be safe, offer additional seating, and would actually improve the area it's in.
It's a beautiful design, but so that's not my vote, right? Like, you have to decide. I'm moving forward with this concept, but I just want you to know I did approach them and ask them to partner with us. I also reached out to John Calabrese, came to one of our very first meetings from LifeSpring, and we said, hey, we're working on this grand vision that we have for the city. What are you guys doing? Because we don't want to do the same thing you're doing. So, we've reached out to other people in the community too to ask them what they're doing. I just want you to know
My
that.
concern is this just hamstrings us for anything else, unless we want to wait years.
Well, I think at
And
that
that's a
point,
concern.
I'm sorry, Mike, I'll
That's
let you
fine.
go ahead.
And we've heard your concerns, Ray, and that's certainly something that will be taken into account by the council and everyone's involved in this. Kim, I do want to thank you for putting together a plan, because it gets the discussion going, and it's a good plan, and it's a good way to get things started. We've built up enough money in this bedroom fund, tax fund, that we need to figure out how to spend some of it. Not to spend any of it is silly too, right?
I agree completely.
Whether we spend all of it or some of it, I think that's a great thing to debate. The question I have is, if we receive this grant, and you'll find out here in the next few months, is there a timeline as to when that grant has to be spent, or we have to, if we accept it, when it has to be used?
I
You know what the-
don't
know
have
what the
those
constraints are on
particulars,
that.
but we have to start. I did read in this grant application, you all have a copy of it. I did see that, I think we have to start by 2024.
It would normally be about 24 months. So we would have 24 months to complete the projects that were agreed upon in that cycle.
The grant
Okay, so-
application says the first
So we have,
phase
if we
has to be done at
decide
the end of
to,
this
we
year.
get the grant, we decide that we want to accept it, we got to move pretty quickly.
I'm sorry?
If we receive a grant, and we decide to accept it, we would have to move pretty quickly.
Yes.
Yes, we would have to start breaking ground.
All right, so it's a good
Yeah.
time to start talking about that.
Yes, so this is just starting the discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, for saying
And
that.
then the other question is, I see a lot of ball fields here. Do you know who the primary user might be for the ball fields?
Well, they're community ball fields, so our community would be using them.
Okay, so it would be open to the Harrison Junior Baseball, the girls softball league,
It would be, well,
perhaps even a
The
novel.
fields aren't big enough for baseball, we were told.
those fields are about the same size as the varsity softball field at the high school as a visual. So 4 of those.
These fields.
But it can be Little League games.
Yes, it could be Little League, the
So-
boys on there, which usually you see them out here. They don't play games on our fields because the fields aren't big enough, but certainly they're out here practicing.
Yeah, and then the other thought is other sports like soccer and football, are they able to use these fields, or would they be baseball, softball fields only
Would they be able to use those
for soccer and other stick and ball sports?
for the amount of money that we're putting into them and to maintain them? I would not use them for soccer. In the meantime, they could use the fields that they're using now, use the fields that they're using now.
You don't have mounds on girls softball fields, but you do have on baseball. And if you didn't have mounds on these, you couldn't use them for baseball,
They do have mobile mounds.
unless you had
So,
that.
but those are all discussion items that we can we can continue to hash out as we move forward. And just to take time into account here, I like to try to move on, because there's going to be a lot more discussions around this. There's a lot of information that still has to be hashed through around the grant, around the layout, around absolutely everything. But I do greatly appreciate you taking the time to come out and start this process. It's been a goal since the beginning of the year to get you here and do this initial presentation, get it in front of council, get it in front of the community. We will work on trying to get a social media post put together so the community can see this initial concept. And we'd like to hear your feedback on it. We would, whether it's via social media, whether it's via email, please take the time to reach out to us and let us know what your thoughts are. So, but I thank you very much for coming here tonight and doing this for us.
All right. Does anybody have any takeaways for me that you want me to research and get back to you on? No? Okay.
I think at this point, we'll just,
If you please, if you survey in the future, do a better job.
Yes, sir.
You reach 800 people. I reached 461 people in 2 hours last night.
What did you do?
I run a page on Facebook, the Parks of Harrison, Ohio.
All right. Well, maybe you could tag us and help us out there.
I'm just pointing out.
the survey was put on the City of Harrison's website that has 6,700 followers. And unfortunately, they don't have the ability to control who responds and who doesn't respond. While we always wish that we had more responses in a situation like this, as we continue to move forward and try to get it in front of the community, hopefully we'll get the feedback that we need to make a good decision.
I think this visual, this concept will get the conversation started, right?
Yes.
So people will see it, they'll know that we're committed, we're serious about this, and I would hope that we would get a greater response.
This isn't a knock on you or this plan, but one thing the city doesn't do well is notification. We used to have a local paper. This would have been in it. We don't have one anymore. Since the Harrison Press has left, this is something that should have been in print. We have the ability to put things like this in our utility bills and send them out for next to nothing. And this should have been done with that and reached every resident of the city. Your survey says it's from people from 45030. That runs all the way over to New Baltimore, parts of Whitewater Township, Crosby Township. So we don't even know how many of these 800 were actually in the city. And that's important stuff to know.
There actually is a breakdown of that in your packet that you have in front of you. Kim, thank you very much for your
All right.
time this evening. Greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Next, we will invite Sarah Cullen from the Greater Harrison Chamber of Commerce up.
Good evening, Mayor, members
Good
of
evening.
council. It's great to be here with you all. I'm Sarah Cullen. I'm the Executive Director for Greater Harrison Chamber of Commerce. And our mission at the Chamber is promoting growth and prosperity. So an important way that we're doing that is by focusing on connecting people to opportunities and likewise helping our local employers connect to the workforce that they need. So we have a very important event coming up next week, the Harrison Job Fair, March 14th. And about 4 years ago, our local employers were particularly struggling to find workers. So they asked the chamber for help, and we in turn asked the school district because they had for many years had a phenomenal career day where they were already bringing in some companies and having the students come in and learn about different career opportunities around us. So they were very receptive to that idea, as they have been with many other things with workforce-related issues. And so on March 14th, we'll have our third Harrison Job Fair that's open to the public from 3:30 to 6 p.m. And we are, I'll be passing out some flyers if that's okay, and we'll also leave some in the lobby of the community center if that's all right. It has on it a QR code that job seekers can scan. You don't have to, but they can sign up to get updates, a list of what companies are going to be there. They can note that if they want to utilize free childcare that's going to be provided at the job fair. And also, they can even register to get a ride. We've got Celebrate Recovery at Church on Fire, who's going to be on standby, ready to give people a ride to the job fair. So we just wanted to reduce any barriers that people might have to coming out and finding a great opportunity to work. So I also want to introduce Jamie Lynn Johnson. Many of you probably know Jamie. She's a phenomenal educator and workforce developer for Southwest Local Schools, and she'll tell you a little bit more about what the school district is doing.
Thank you first for having us tonight. So I am I work at the junior high all the way up to the high school level, and about 10 years ago, the school came actually in this building with churches, employers, community members, and there was a big push on the fact that all the school district was doing was educating our kids to go to college. And most of our students, when they would go to college, they would take their money and their families and move outside of Harrison. So we listened to that, and that was kind of like, you know, salt in a wound to us, because we're like, oh man, we are missing the boat on this. So we started to really research and talk to employers, and we have actually added in some different trades and different pathways at our high school level and our junior high level. At the junior high level, students are able to start getting their toes wet, if you want to say, and being able to explore what they like to do, so that when they move on to the high school, they can start picking the career pathways that they would like to go. And with that, Sarah and I have been working very hard to educate our students on what jobs are here in Harrison. Our goal is to keep as many families here in Harrison and have them have children and then their children stay here. I am an alumni of Harrison. I've lived here my whole life. I moved away for just a little bit, but I came right back with my kids. And I will say that Harrison is a great community, and working together as a whole, we are able to start at the elementary level and work our way all the way through to the adults by getting them to the activity center and being able to meet the employers that are here in our community that are needing the people for help in the employment area. So I would just like to say thank you for your time. Hopefully you can stop out and see the great job fair that we put on each year and all the employers. And the students do get a little bit of time at the end of the school day, the juniors and seniors. They actually get to come over and meet with the employers also, so that they can kind of see what's out there for them to be able to get careers here in Harrison.
Very good.
Any questions for us?
I wish you luck. That's a national problem you're running into. Yeah. You see it on every station you go to. They can't seem to find people who want to work, and
that's one of our goals in the school district and working with the chamber is to get students to realize what they like to do instead of going and thinking they have to go to college and realizing a year and a half, 2 years in, that that's not what they want to do. They drop out, now they're in debt, they're trying to work 2-3 jobs just to be able to afford a family and to live on their own. So this way we're hoping that students can kind of get that guidance, not only from educators, but also you as community members.
I applaud your efforts on this. Obviously, every employer in town is looking for employees. So to not only raise our kids in the excellent school system that we have, but to try to retain them in our community is great. So thank you for everything that y'all are doing.
Yeah,
and I will try to stop out. So
I hope you all do, and if you would please help us spread the word.
yes,
I don't know if you heard Facebook was down today.
I didn't hear.
So, we would appreciate you sharing. Obviously, you're all people of influence, and we would appreciate you sharing it with your network, your church, whatever means you may have to help us spread the word and get as many people there as we can. I remember last year, it was pretty cool seeing entire families come into the job fair, because we do have such a wide range of employers who come out and participate, from seasonal work at the parks to food service, part-time jobs, trades, full-time career opportunities, healthcare, you name it. There's a little bit of something for everyone at the job fair.
Do you have your flyers?
Yep, I'll pass these down if that's okay.
Actually, can we
Say,
get
give
that
me one, I'll have in
posted
front
to
of
social
2000.
media as well, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. We will get that on the city social media as well.
Thank you.
To get it sent out.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move into the business session. Vote on an ordinance amending the amounts appropriated to various funds of the city of Harrison, Ohio.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Abrams?
Yay.
Mr. Samuels?
Yay.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mr. Maines?
Yay.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Egner?
Yay.
That is all we had for the business session, so we'll go ahead and move into reports. Obviously, in regards to the Recreation Commission or Recreational Improvement Plan, there's a lot to still be hashed out, but every great plan starts somewhere, and that's the way I'd like everyone to think about that. I do appreciate all the feedback and the comments from council, because that's the way a whole, complete plan can be put together and accomplish the best for the community as a whole. But that's also why I do encourage the community as we roll this information out and we continue to hold meetings. I do encourage the community to come out and provide their feedback around this, because we do want to hear as much as possible from everybody. So please continue to listen and try to stay up to date on when the meetings are so you can provide your feedback. That's pretty much all I have at this point. Mr. Dieters, do you have any items? Very good. Jerry, do you have any report this evening?
Of course. Not a very long one, though. I want to thank the VFW for coming in and jumping in with us on the Command Training Center for the Fire Department. It's very kind of you guys. I also want to say that if there's a student at Harrison High School that would like to apply for a scholarship, the American Legion has 10 $1,000 scholarships to give away, and we will be giving them out at the April 2nd City Council meeting. It's amazing how many students are out there and how few requests we get. I talked to a young lady today, I won't mention where she works, you might tell by the way I look. But I found out she went to Harrison High School, and so you want to apply for a scholarship? No, I don't think so. I said, seriously? It's $1,000, free money. She's not going to do it. I don't know what it is, but we're giving away money, and sometimes it's tough to give it away.
Are there any restrictions on whether they go to a four-year college,
No,
two-year college,
no,
or
they
trade
go to
school?
Trade school, four-year school. And the money's given to them. It's not given to the college.
Yes.
See, a lot of times when someone gets a scholarship at college, if they get grants from like us or VFW or someone, and it's sent to the college, they put that as part of the grant. This goes straight to them. They can do what they want with it.
Very good.
That's all I got, sir.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Councilman Egner.
Yes, sir. I do have a brief report. First, I want to say thanks to Kim for coming out and walking us through this this plan. She's done a great job, and we've had some feedback. Would love some more. I'm the chair of the Tech and Media Committee. We met today. There's the North Conference Room. The installation is complete with the audio-visual updates, and we have to program the equipment in there, and this conference room we're planning to offer that to be open to the public. So I just wanted to touch on that. And then the only other thing I want to say is I want to congratulate the the Harrison girls wrestling team. We're sending 8 girls to the state tournament
Friday,
next
right?
weekend. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. To see the girls grow. My daughter's on the team, so I've got to watch the girls grow. This will be Chloe Deerwester's fourth run at the state championship. If she wins, it'll be her fourth. It'll be her fourth state championship. And her sister is a freshman, and she has made the state tournament. So it's pretty exciting.
The boys have.
The boys
Four
have 4
going,
going,
correct?
yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So it's a neat sport to watch and watch these kids grow, and they learn a lot. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Councilman Abrams?
I will third motion that you did a great job, Kim. It's got to start somewhere, and you have my full support. And if you have any questions, get with me. I think it's a great project, and I think it's going in the right direction. Just 3 quick things, Mayor, on streets. The Edgewood Road project, if you want to know any scheduling for that, it's up on our website. It's been put up there for a current update. Secondly, West Road at Carolina Trace intersection. There's been discussions about that, changing that, so we're looking at doing that in future months here. And third, New Haven in front of the UDF, some striping had been removed or had been worn away, and as early as Friday, that could take place. We're going to put some new stripes down on the road. That's all I got.
Very good. In regards to Carolina Trace and West Road, the goal there is to add a turn lane to allow a better flow of traffic, especially at heavy times. So we had some initial discussions around that, and we have a concept that we hope to address here over the next month or so and ease the flow of traffic right there. So in regards to New Haven Road, I've probably almost had accidents there probably 5, 6, 7 times where merging occurs, and the primary cause is just because of faded traffic or missed markings, and we're just going to address that and allow a more visible sight line for everybody as they travel through that corridor right there. So, and one note that I meant to bring up also, our community fish fries, all those organizations that have our community fish fries, I've been able to visit the VFW, American Legion, Kiwanis, and all of those organizations that hold those fish fries turn their money around and they go to good causes. So I encourage everybody, not only are you going to get a great meal, but I encourage you to frequent those as we come to an end of April. We have, 3 more weeks? I think 4 more weeks? 4 more weeks. 4 more weeks of fish fries, which is good for me because my wife wants to eat fish all the time. But I do encourage you all to frequent the local establishments that support our community so well. Councilman Samuels.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I do have 2 updates. My first update is from our Finance Committee meeting on February 27th. As always, we did a quick review of the revenues and expenses so far. Nothing really alarming. We're only 1 month in, so there wasn't really a whole lot to review. It's kind of hard to catch trends, when looking at such little data. So in the next couple months, we'll have a pretty good idea of where we're going to be with our revenues and expenses, but we'll keep an eye on it. The 2023 audit is still ongoing, so no updates there. Miscellaneous items we had, one of the things we talked about were the budget amendments, which came before council tonight. I didn't have a chance to speak about what they were, but those encompassed about $464,000, $100,000 of which was related to the pilot payment, the payment in lieu of taxes for the Hillwood property. So we did not budget for the revenue coming in. However, that is a shared program where we do provide money to the school district and to the township based off our agreement. So we received approximately $131,000 as a pilot payment. So 95,000 of that is going out to Southwest Local School District for their property taxes, and about 5,000 is going out to the Harrison Township for their portion of the pilot payment. The other piece of that was about 364,000 for additional costs on the construction, engineering, and oversight for the Edgewood Sewer Road project. This was not initially budgeted, so we did have to appropriate this extra money. So one thing I do note, obviously, it is, 364,000 is a lot of money, but we do have sufficient funding in the wastewater fund to cover that, and it's a minimal impact for that fund. So in terms of the sewer road project, we did get an update, some of the highlights. We're looking at a total cost estimate of about $6.7 million. In terms of funding for the project, we did receive about $5 million in bond funding. We did receive a $750,000 contribution from the builder for the sewer. We have received about $325,000 in interest income, because we were able to invest that money when it came in, and we're earning interest on it until we do have to pay this money out at the project completion. So hopefully that amount will go up by the end of the project, and any remaining amount will come from the sewer fund, or wastewater fund. Dry Fork Road project, which is obviously a pretty high priority project. We did receive $275,000 from the township, part of their portion. So we do thank the trustees for sending that money over. We did have Kim come into the finance committee and talk about the project, exactly what she did before. And kudos to Kim for the work that's been done. It looks like a great project, and hopefully moving forward. So we also had a brief discussion on a recreational facilities tax, really just talking about our options for updating the zoning and or building permit fees. More information was to be provided to the Economic Development Committee, and there have been no updates on the union contracts that we have. I think we're in the process of organizing some dates to start the negotiations with the Steelworkers Union, so more information to come on that. So moving on to economic development. Economic development did meet tonight. So on the activity report, really the big thing, there have been several meetings with developers of the former Dole property, which is across the street from Kroger, so happy to see some movement going on that property. Planning Commission, there is one item before Planning Commission that relates to a bookstore novelty shop going in downtown district. Another topic we discussed was the district event support. So the city is looking to provide a dumpster for 2 events and possibly review insurance coverage for the events, but those are ongoing discussions and would most likely be minimal cost to the city. The Economic Development Group is working on 2 software upgrades. One is their CED, or Cloud Permit System, which is just basically an online permit system that is estimated to go live in late June. Also their GIS system, we're hoping for a demo, but it didn't work out tonight. But it's the Geographic Information System, which provides mapping capabilities for zoning, incentive districts, sewer and water lines. And essentially it's just used for planning as groups come in and want to see what's available, what utilities are available for properties, incentives, things like that. Matt continues as BRE, or his Business Expansion Retention Visits. I think the meeting he had this month was with JTO, and we also spent a good chunk talking about the zone and permitting fee discussion, and really that just led into the fact that our next meeting, there will be, we did review some comparisons, so at the next meeting we'll have some options available, and we may move forward with some of those options at one of the future council meetings. In terms of activity, economic development activity around the city, the Valley House Restaurant is still moving forward with the remodeling and final inspections. Hopefully, they will be opening at the middle to end of March, looking like the end of March, but I drive by it pretty much every day on my way to and from home, and it looks great. I love what they've done with the place, so I'm very excited about it. One change that's, the Fretbird Brewery has submitted their plans for transitioning the former Heist building. Work will begin shortly with anticipation of a late May opening. In the Greater Harrison Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring a job fair, which we had some visitors come in and talk about at the high school activity center. Childcare and rides are available for kids. check the GHCC website for more details. But this job fair is occurring on March 14th, 2024 at 3:30 to 6 p.m. at the High School Activity Center. One more item to note is during March Madness, the door hours have been expanded. So for March 21st through 24th, March 28th through 31st, April 5th and 6th, and April 8th, the normal hours will be Sunday to Thursday, 5 to 11, Friday and Saturday, 5 to 1 a.m. This is just an extension of 1 hour for the Dora District. And that's all I have, Mayor. I know it's a lot.
I like it. Good information. Thank you very much. Councilman Aker.
I don't have a report, but I do have something I want to say. Every time I bring up something about this project I get asked by certain council members, don't you care about Harrison? Don't you want an improvement? Sorry, I'm a little pissed off right now. My family's lived in Harrison for probably since the mid-1800s. I'm the fourth generation to live in my home. In case you think I don't like women's sports, my mother had 5 letters when she graduated in 1941. My twin sister is in the Hall of Fame. My other sister's in the Hall of Fame. I've spent the last 20 years researching Harrison history, and it's all public on Facebook. You can read about this community from 1794 to present. Everything I do is for this community. So don't ask me that again. What I do is for Harrison. And if I don't think this is the best thing, that's just a difference of opinion. I will say I took the same attitude and did the same thing to Mr. Maines when it came to the motorcycle park. I just talked to him this week and I was wrong about it. I still don't understand the motorcycle park, but I get it. I understand it, and it needs to be worked with. And in order for us to be the best city, we can't abandon all the other parks and everything else about this community because of that 28 acres of land. There's more to Harrison than that. So if you're ever wondering again why I'm doing what I'm doing, it's because of this city. That's all I got.
Thank you, Ray. Councilman Maines.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, very quick report. Just want to put out that from 11 o'clock to 1 till 11 o'clock to 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the next 3 Saturdays, we've scheduled a track cleanup day. Looks like this Saturday is going to be too rainy for that to happen. That's why we scheduled 3. So we'll try to get at least 1 in. And the track is, I went down and walked the track last weekend, it's not in bad shape. So
I was going to say, it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, to get it.
Because you had a good end of the season work.
Yes.
Wasn't right at the end.
And we may open the track before we actually get it groomed, but we'll have it safe and ready to run. And we have a fellow who's volunteered his time and equipment this year to do that. So that's always good. So that's kind of an update on that. Utilities Committee did meet this evening. Work is starting to begin on the Indiana well field, getting a well back into service there. The Edgewood sewer work continues. They're working on the lift station processing now, and they'll be working back on the sewer line on Edgewood Road here shortly. And in the water treatment plant, the chemical room is nearing completion. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Mrs. Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to report on recreation. Our Easter program is set for March the 30th, 2024, starting with the Boy Scouts pancake breakfast from 8 a.m. to 11. There'll be games. There'll be an Easter egg hunt that'll start at 11 a.m. and be done at 11:01 a.m. Our concerts are coming up starting on June the 4th with the Remains. On June the 18th will be Michelle Robinson. On July the 16th will be Zack Attack. And on July the 30th, it'll be DV8. On July the 4th, we'll have our parade and our celebration here at the community center. We're still working on some of the events for that. Summer Fun will be run from June the 11th through July the 25th. Sign-up dates will be posted soon. Our car show will be August the 10th. Our citywide yard sale will be September the 7th. Spooktacular will be October the 27th. And our Christmas parade and tree lighting will be December the 7th. Also, I like to, as the mayor did, I'd like to encourage everyone to please patronize the local fish fries. Both the VFW on Lawrenceburg Road and the American Legion on Campbell Road, and the Ambets on South State Street, and the Kiwanis at the Harrison Building and Loan on New Haven Road. All these great organizations contribute directly back into our community. And don't forget that the VFW is going to have one heck of a party going down there with the total eclipse on April the 8th. And it sounds like a lot of fun. I think they put a lot of thought into this. So it should be work out very, very well. I would also like to thank Kim for her commitment to our community, the great job that she does, not only on everything, not only on this plan here, but on everything she does. She's totally committed to the Recreation Committee and the City of Harrison. And I don't know how it's all going to shake out yet, but I know whatever we do, it'll be very nice. And hopefully that everyone can get a little bit of something that they want. And like Kim said, this is a concept. It can be changed. It can be updated. Heck, it might not even happen. Who knows? But I hope it does. And thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, one thing, Mayor. I did notice on the community calendar that the date of our next council meeting is incorrect. So whoever does the community calendar may want to update it, because we did change it because of the election.
I was even reminded tonight, just as a reminder to everybody, our next council meeting has been moved to Wednesday, the 20th. So all our committee meetings and council meeting will be on Wednesday, the 20th. So just keep that in mind. I do have one motion to adjourn.
And I will second that motion.
Roll call.
Mr. Samuels?
Yay.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mr. Maines?
Yay.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Egner?
Yay.
Mr. Abram?
We stand adjourned. Have a great evening.